The Mountaineers are better than the Mountain Hawks. Everybody knows that. 69-47, West Virginia picks up the win over Lehigh. We got your full extensive recap here on this episode of Mountaineer Moment. This is the Mountaineer Moment, your source for all things West Virginia football and basketball. From pregame to postgame coverage and breaking news, we've got you covered. Let's go. Welcome in, everybody, to episode number 81 of Mountaineer Moment, your source for all things West Virginia football and basketball. And the basketball team under new head coach Ross Hodge has just finished. It just went final of their third game of the season, and they pick up the 69-47 win over Lehigh. Lehigh Mountain Hawks, school in PA, made the trip over to Morgantown and going home with an L. Obviously, first half much stronger than the second half for the Mountaineers. We will dive into that on this episode. We'll talk about their strong start and a sloppy second half. We'll take a look at the box score and talk about this massive game from Below. Brennan Lauriat, the transfer coming in from North Texas, joining Ross Hodge, who's been very good through 3 games, but this was definitely his best game of the season. And maybe the best game of his career, a career high in scoring for Brennan Lauriat in this one. Love to see it, and just some other general thoughts. But if you are new here to Mountaineer Moment, again, your source for West Virginia football and basketball. Super pumped for it to be basketball season. Mountaineers picked up the big win in football yesterday against Colorado, so a 2-0 weekend for WVU football and basketball in Morgantown. So happy to see that. We definitely if you haven't yet, you should definitely go check out that recap video that we had of West Virginia's win over Colorado that dropped yesterday. But for this one, kind of just immediate thoughts, initial reaction to this game. Game literally just went final, hopping on here. But good to win a game. This was a game that the message that everybody knew of, and if you didn't know, Lehigh had played Houston in their season opener, lost by, I think, 18 and somewhere in there, and they actually beat Houston in the second half. And that was like everybody's, whoa, hold on. This Lehigh team, say what you want about whatever you want to say, Lehigh beat Houston in the second half. Ross Hodge said it even at halftime in his interview. They beat Houston in the second half. Houston, obviously, a threat to win the national championship year after year after year. Came close a season ago. They're ranked second in the country this year. And this Lehigh team that came to Morgantown for a game, this Sunday afternoon, beat Houston in the second half. And so that caused some concerns. And West Virginia's coming off of a game the other day on Thursday night when they struggled a little bit against Campbell, were able to put that one away and get the win. But there were some moments in there, some growing pains you're walking through that were not so pretty. And then Lehigh comes to town, and out the gate you started extremely well. Below from the jump was really active defensively, really getting into it offensively as well. He just got the job done. You took a 42-20 lead into halftime, and it was really, really dominant. That includes, I think, a couple late first half threes from Lehigh, who was stuck on like 7 points for a lot of time. You just did your thing. Defensively, offensively, things were clicking. That was by far, right? Not a large sample size, obviously, but by far the best that this team has looked was that first half of basketball. Not a whole lot to complain about there. Different guys getting involved offensively. You looked crisp. Very few turnovers. You were turning them over. You were out rebounding them, right? There weren't a lot of second chance opportunities. There was nothing easy at the rim. Again, late second half, they knocked down a couple threes, but apart from that, you just got the job done, and you looked very impressive in that first half. Most impressive half of basketball we've seen this year from Ross Hodge's crew. Second half, it was a tied second half, 27-all in that half. So obviously coming out with a 22-point victory in the end, 69-47. But it really, truly was a tale of two halves, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But we'll look at the box score here For West Virginia, mentioned Below had 26 points, 7 boards, 2 assists, 3 steals. He just continues to stuff the stat sheet. But the thing that jumps off of that box score to me and watching the game, Not known as a three-point shooter, but he knocked down 3 out of 4 today. 3 out of 4 from downtown, and if he hits that consistently, not 75% consistent, but 35, 40%, like who knows, right? If he does that consistently, that opens up not only another element to his game that he can continue to develop and just run right through that door and continue to excel and make him a better player, but that makes this team a lot better. That makes the guys around him a lot better, because all offseason long, the conversation has been Honor Huff, Trace, and Eaglestaff. Honor Huff, Trace, and Eaglestaff. They're going to be the guys to knock down shots, and rightfully so. But today, Brennan Lorient wasn't just a defensive guy, wasn't just a low post guy, wasn't just a threat to catch lobs. He stepped out beyond the arc and knocked down 3 out of 4. He was incredibly efficient inside the arc, 11 for 15 on the day. Total for 73% shooting, to go along with 7 boards, 2 assists, 3 steals, just active defensively. I thought everybody on this team had really, really active hands, especially in that first half. Jasper Floyd had just 7 points, a quiet night for him again, but 5 boards, 4 assists, ran the offense well, just a couple turnovers for him. Harlan Obioha finished with 12 points and 8 rebounds. He was a pretty notable force in this one, as he should be, as he's expected to be. When he got it down low, got good position, was able to finish, was able to get to the free throw line, and he knocked them down. 6 of 7 from the free throw line for Harlan Obioha. That sticks out. Last couple guys in the starting lineup that we haven't touched on yet. Honor Huff, just 8 points for him, 2 of 10, 2 of 8 from downtown. And then Trace and Eaglestaff, 5 points, 3 rebounds, 1 of 3 from downtown for him. So if we camp out there for a second, you just look at the box score for West Virginia, and their 2 best scorers, quote unquote, like 2 best scorers, Honor Huff and Eaglestaff, combine to go 3 for 11 from downtown and combined for just 13 points. And you still win a game by 22. That's a good feeling. Obviously, Jasper Floyd was the story in game 1, going off for 25 points. Honor Huff was the story in game 2, 20-plus points. Brennan Lorient is now in game number 3, another West Virginia Mountaineer, going for over 20 points with his 26. So it just feels good to be able to know that Eaglestaff has an off night, Honor Huff has an off night, and yet you can still score the basketball. Obviously, that offensive production dipped in the second half, but whatever. Like, you did enough in the first half to still coast relatively to victory. Lehigh, tried to make little runs here and there, and they did. Obviously, it was a good, tightly contested second half, but you built up a lead enough to be quite all right in this one. Not a ton of production off the bench. I thought definitely Amir Jenkins was the best player off the bench. He had 6 points, 3 boards, 2 assists, and 2 steals. He knocked down a 3. It was a good stroke late in that second half. That was good to see. Had a nice mid-range turnaround as well, and handled the ball pretty well. Did his thing. Found some guys for open looks. I mentioned that. He did have a couple assists in this one as well. DJ Thomas, just 3 points. He got chewed out a little bit when Ross Hodge called a timeout. Not sure, just something defensively that he didn't do, even though we were up big, which was cool to see from Ross Hodge. I think, man, like, just get on him. Obviously, he knows what they are expected to do, and if they don't do it, he's going to get on them. That's a good welcome sign here on Mountaineer Moment. At least we think so. So Lehigh, shooting-wise, just some numbers for them. 16 of 46 from the field, 7 of 21 from 3. Jurasevich, who we talked about pregame, had 16 points on 6 of 12, and he probably only played 15, 16 minutes or something like that, too. So he is, point per minute scoring when he's on a tear. Lately, he's been really good. We said, I think he was the one. Let me just double-check. I don't think he played. Yeah, he didn't play against Houston, but he played against Valley Forge, and in 22 minutes, he put up 23 points. Well, he kind of had a similar impact in this one. He cooled off toward the end, again, just 6 of 12 on the day, but he was their leading scorer with 16. Joshua Ingram, 14 points, 5 of 9 from the field, 2 of 3 from 3, but not a whole lot else doing for this team. No one else had above 5, so those guys combined for 30 of Lehigh's 47. And can we just camp out there for a second? West Virginia shuts down Lehigh to 47 points. 47 points. I mentioned I don't know, it might have been in the preseason or just when maybe that episode we talked about here, if you want to go back and look at it. I think it was just called 4 Things That We Want to See from West Virginia in the non-conference in this early slate. I don't remember if it was that episode or another one, but just mentioned the fact that, okay, Ross Hodge is here. I think it was that episode. He's a defensive-minded coach, gets a lot out of his guys, comes from North Texas where he was a top 3 defense in the nation. And you want to see that brought to Morgantown. You want to see some halves where teams just are out of sorts. And that was Lehigh in that first half. They just couldn't do anything. Forcing turnovers, active hands, getting in passing lanes was West Virginia. Getting Lehigh to the end of the clock where they just threw something up. And it was a really spectacular defensive performance, especially in that first half. You let up a little bit. Second half, give up 27, which still isn't a bad thing. Again, for reference, Houston gave up more than that in the second half against this Lehigh team, and Houston's one of the best teams in the nation. There's no debating that. Lehigh, first half there, again, just do with this what you will. I mean, we didn't, if you didn't watch the game, then you can only know so much. But 44-23 in favor of Houston that first half, 21-point lead, and then 34-31 in that second half. So Lehigh put up 34. In that one, they put up 50. In the second half, they put up 57 against Houston and just 47 against West Virginia, where that was a bit of a concern coming in because you just played Houston, one of the best teams. Does that prepare you for West Virginia? And you would think it would have, and maybe it did in a way, but Lehigh didn't look good. they just didn't look good in that first half. First half, West Virginia was absolutely, positively solid, did their thing, had a great game, had a great performance. Second half was sloppy. Sloppy second half. You turn the ball over more. I think West Virginia finished the day with 13 turnovers. I don't know how many they had in that first half, but it wasn't many. A few errant passes, a few dumb decisions. Eagle staff threw one right away, like just, elementary level kind of stuff. A guy standing between 2 guys who were bringing it up the court, and he just jumped in the passing lane when he threw a lazy pass to Jasper Floyd and took it the other way. It was some things like that that are just mental things you got to work on. So it was. You're left wondering after that second half, man. Like, what would this team look like if they put 2 halves together? What would this team be capable of if they could do that? So you're left wondering that a little bit, but. All in all, good to win. Good to win by 22 points when all is said and done against a Lehigh team who, again, returns 11 players to their roster, which was, I think they said, either most or tied for most or certainly up there in Division I college basketball. So they return a lot of guys. West Virginia obviously doesn't. Major contrast there, and yet you weren't. You didn't allow that continuity that they have coming into this season to disrupt what you got that you're trying to form this continuity for West Virginia. So 69-47, the final. West Virginia gets the win. The high man in this one, the player of the game, no doubt was Belo, Brennan Lorient, the transfer from North Texas. He put up in his 32 minutes, he had 26 points, 7 boards, 2 assists, 3 steals, and you love his efficiency. 11 for 15 from the field, and bonus, like 3 of 4 from 3. Not that he's going to go 3 of 4 from 3 every night, right? I get that. But if you get anything from Belo beyond the arc, if he knocks down a 3 or 2 a game on a decent efficiency, you're going to welcome that. That's something, I don't think we were fully aware of or expecting. I wasn't watching this game expecting Belo to go 3 or 4 from 3. Just saying. Right? Can we be honest about that? So last year at North Texas, so yeah, this speaks to that. Last year at North Texas, he shot just over half a 3 a game. 0.6 3-point attempts per game. So that's an element of his game that he has certainly worked on, an element of his game he is, you can tell, obviously, a small sample size, but you can tell he's made that a priority in the offseason to get better in that area. And he knocked 3 out of 4 down, so keep an eye on that moving forward. Monitor that situation, see how often he's going to step out beyond the 3-point line, because He's such an asset everywhere on the floor. An extremely, extremely, extremely good game from him all around. And he has been West Virginia's best all-around player, this season, offense, defense, and just what he brings so far. So, again, you love it. You love the fact that Jasper Floyd was the guy in Game 1. You love the fact that Honor Huff, kind of led you to that victory over Campbell in Game 2. When I say Week 1, Game 1 and Game 2, and then tonight against Lehigh, Brennan Laurent really shined and showed what he's capable of. You love to see it. Different guys stepping up. Doesn't have to be the same guy every night. West Virginia's not used to that. If you were a fan of this team watching them last year, it was Javon Small, and if Javon Small didn't play well, you didn't win because you didn't have a chance. And so it's encouraging to me. That's a major takeaway of this is Honor Huff didn't shoot particularly well. Jasper Floyd quiet, as far as scoring. Tracy Eaglestaff quiet, and yet you won comfortably. You'll get a 20-plus point victory against Lehigh. We'll take it. That's an encouraging thing to see. All right, real quick, just a reminder, some Mountaineers are 3-0, and they got a big one coming up. This is Sunday night, obviously, but Thursday night, November 13th at 6 o'clock is the Backyard Brawl, Hardwood Edition. All right, 6 o'clock on FS1. The Pitt Panthers are coming to the Coliseum, and we will be sure to have you covered with pregame and postgame coverage for that one. So, again, if you are just here on the Mountaineer Moment for the first time, welcome, and we would love to have you subscribe, toss a like, leave a comment, drop a rating, whatever you want to do. We're available on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Amazon Music, and we would love to have you join this community that we got going on here. This is episode 81 of Mountaineer Moment, and we're excited to see you next time and excited for the Backyard Brawl coming up in just a few days.